Surprise, motherfucker.
Hey guys, Jim here. Welcome in once again. Today we're going to be taking a look at another new offering from Kansept Knives. And this one is going to be designed by Jonathan Stiles up in Newfoundland, Canada. And this is called the Weim. Weim? I'm not entirely too certain. W-E-I-M. I don't know if that's a crazy Canadian word or some other foreign word that my awful American tongue just can't get right. I don't know. What I do know is, oh man, this thing is cool. Sleek, slender, and cool. Now, I very quickly glossed over it, but I do want to make mention that I've always loved the packaging that Kansept does. So what you've got going on here is the standard drawer-style cardboard box with the slip pouch inside of that. It's a pretty classy presentation, especially for such an inexpensive brand. They focus on bringing a lot of value in with their knives, and I found that they don't really cut a lot of corners. Now, obviously, corners are going to be cut on any production knife, and corners are going to be cut to get into certain price points. That's a given, but they're not very evident with Kansept, at least with most of their stuff. Now, I haven't really handled a lot of their really, really low-price stuff, the $100 or so things. But the knives that I've handled, I've been very, very impressed with for the prices that they were. Here, you've got something that's, in my opinion, very, very different. We're going to talk about that in just 1 second. Let's start things off first by talking about Jonathan Stiles up in Canada. Now, he is listed as being a lifelong outdoorsman who's into fishing and hiking and other general kind of outdoorsy camping sort of things. And he is also a knife maker and axe maker, as well as a designer. And his website, newfoundlandknife.com, he offers both handmade customs as well as his own line of production outdoor products in collaboration with brands like Kansept. The first thing that struck me with this design, honestly, was the integration of these materials. Take a good look at this. Whoop, let's try not to knock it all around. The way that the carbon fiber has been integrated into the overall design of the frame is wonderfully unique. Normally we see, islands of inlays, or they do entire scales. Here, both obverse and reverse, you've got segments. You have a segment of the carbon fiber, and then the other segments are done in the bead-blasted titanium. I really like having these different sections, and then they also further add to the detail by putting a titanium pivot collar around each of the pivots inset into the carbon fiber. So you've got titanium, carbon fiber, titanium, then of course your titanium hardware. All the way around, it looks unique and it looks very, very cool. And I'll be honest with you, it's not something that I would have expected from someone who focuses primarily on fixed blade knives and axes and little folding saws and other outdoorsy kinds of designs, because this is a very modern type of folder that I just didn't see coming out of a maker or designer like that. Now, I also really dig the pocket clip as well, because you could see very, very clearly that it was well thought out and it was designed to complement the overall knife design as a whole. Really, really well done. Minimalistic titanium backspacer, and you've also got a over travel stop for the lock bar on here. And I do believe, and yeah, let's go ahead and get a nice tight shot of that. Yes, you have a steel insert, so you have steel on steel lockup, so you don't have to worry about the lock migrating over in time. Now, this particular carbon fiber does have the little hits of blue in it. Looks really, really good. I think if I had to complain about anything, it's certainly not going to be the blade shape or the blade steel. This is a modified sheep's foot, or you could call it a reverse tanto if you want to. To me, a reverse tanto still, it would have a straight edge to it and then have this reverse tanto going on at the tip. So this would be a modified sheep's foot, and it's got a lot of cutting capabilities. I think it's pretty darn cool. But stylistically, it's a home run. And I do believe dimensionally, I just wish it was just a little bit bigger. And I don't mean crazy big or anything. And the size that it is, I still think is good with just under a 3.5-inch blade. But if it was just a tad larger, I think that I would somehow enjoy it a little bit more. But I do like the fact that it's sleek and slender. It disappears in the pocket. The pocket clip, by the way, has really, really good retention. It clips in nice and tight, and it's not like you're struggling or fighting to get it in or out of the pocket. The action, as you've seen me demonstrate here, is very smooth, very, very fast, and it's mostly drop shutty, which again is not an indicator of quality, but it is my way of being able to demonstrate to you how smooth the action is if you're not here with me to be able to feel it for yourself. So I do enjoy the smallish size, but I think with such a functional design and something that is very clearly intended to be really, really used, I would have loved to have seen another option in a larger size. I'm not saying it should only be made in the larger size, because this is going to be, it's going to be almost like a Benchmade 940, right? It's going to be a really great utilitarian, useful knife that's small and lightweight enough and narrow enough that it's unobtrusive. You can carry it in your pocket every day. And it's going to do absolutely everything that you want it to do performance-wise. So yes, I do like the size. I just see that blade shape and go, oh man, it would be really cool if there was an XL variant of that available as well. And while it's not often that I will buy two of the same knife and have two sizes of the same knife, I have been known to do it on occasion. And I think that this is one of those knives that would inspire me to want to own both, because this is a size that is a joy to drop in the pocket. It really, really, really carries well. And for small things, maybe you're tying down something, some big thing that you got, I don't know, at Home Depot, you're tying down some lumber with some twine, you just got to cut it off real quick, trim it down, that sort of thing. This is really, really, really good for opening up packages, things like that, maybe doing some stuff around the office. But if you were outdoors, where the designer seems to spend a lot of his time, I think that you would find that you really want to have this knife with you in a larger size. You love the shape, you love the ergonomics, you love the blade profile, you like the edge, you like the steel, the S35V, and you just wish you could take that knife with you to do some slightly more hardcore things out in the wilderness. Now let's talk about the sizes. The overall length is 7.55 inches. Blade length of 3.28 inches, so yeah, just a tick under 3.5 inches, and that is S35 VN steel. Your blade stock is 126 thou thick with a weight of 3.7 ounces. And at a price of $185, I think it puts you in that medium budget range where a lot of people seem to spend a lot of time in their collecting life. Most people will start off with production knives. Maybe they're buying Benchmades and Spydercos and Kansepts and Weim knives and stuff like that. And they'll spend maybe a decade or two in that realm of $75 to $250 knives, production knives that are, general run, high production, not particularly limited, rare, exclusive, or expensive. And then a lot of times what happens is they'll come across something special, maybe a limited edition version of a production knife that they find interesting. They're like, ooh, that one's special. I like it, and also it's not like everybody else's. I'm going to splurge and spend a little bit more on that. And then you get that knife and you make a connection with it, right? It feels a bit more special. And then you realize, hey, there's a whole world out there of custom knives where every knife that I get could be unique and special to me. And not everybody else will have one. And maybe even be able to dictate the materials and finishes that I want in the knives. And then they move up that level and they keep moving up and up and up and up. And a lot of times, once we graduate to those higher levels, a lot of times we don't look back. And I spent a lot of years in that area where I was just buying really, really exclusive, high-end, handmade customs, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $7,000 folding knives that I would carry and use and enjoy for every minute that I had it. And I wouldn't look back. And it was only a couple of years ago that I started to go back and look at production knives again. And I had found so many really interesting, unique designs because a lot of people that are coming up right now in the production knife game designing really cool knives are not knife makers. I would have never owned a knife by them because they're not knife makers. They're knife designers, and they're going to brands like Kansept or Reich or We or Riot, and they're getting their designs made. And holy crap, there are some amazing ones out there. So I'm really glad I stopped and I took a step back and I saw all of those interesting offerings. And to be perfectly honest with you, I had not really tuned into Kansept until last year. Some part of, I don't know why I'm knocking the camera everywhere, some part of 2023. And I got one in my hands and went, damn, they're really offering some cool stuff. And at really good prices. I don't remember which one it was, but I think it was probably around $200. And I'm thinking, man, I haven't spent as little as $200 on a knife in I don't know how long. How are they able to achieve this? And then I started really paying attention to them and seeing design after design after design, really, really nice stuff, and getting more in my hands, having built a relationship with Kansept now over the past year. They often contact me and say, hey, we've got some new stuff coming out. Is there anything that interests you that you'd like to take a look at? And I get in my hands some knives where I'm like, wow, how are they doing this for this kind of price? Now, I'm not saying that this should be a $500, $600, $700 knife. Don't mistake what I'm saying. I'm saying if another brand, let's say it was Riot, was making this, you'd be spending roughly double. And I'm not saying it wouldn't be worth it because Riot does exceptional work. And I'm not trying to put one brand against the other or above the other. But I'm constantly amazed at how little Kansept is charging for these knives and how well executed they are. Really smooth, clean actions, never gritty, always fast, perfectly tuned detents. The strength of the lock bar doesn't impede how the knife operates at all. They look great. They feel great. They're in every way exceptional values. So that's why I enjoy getting a chance to come out here and bring these out. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the chance to see the videos. And if you happen to get one of these in your collection, please sound off down below in the comments and let me know what you thought when you unboxed it. Am I crazy? Am I right? You tell me.